Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Be Well, Be Keto. And today I'm super excited to have Debbie Wagner from Fat Fueled at 50 on the show. It is so fun because Debbie is exactly 1 day younger than me, so we are just perfect keto sisters. Now, Debbie is a 53-year-old physician's assistant. So yes, that makes me 53 too. And she is a certified keto coach. The ketogenic lifestyle actually cured her eating disorder and improved her essential tremor. She is now a fat-fueled 50-something-year-old that wants to help others live an amazing life with food freedom. So I can't wait for you to hear this chat. We just kind of went all over the board with different things. So let's go say hi to Debbie.
Welcome to the Be Well, Be Keto podcast, where we showcase ordinary people who have achieved extraordinary results. Your host is the high-energy girl, health coach, and personal trainer, Tracy Gluhite.
Create whole body wellness, a powerful new advancement in energy medicine. Increase your energy, empower your life. I am super excited to announce that I am now a bioenergetics practitioner. And many people are like, well, what is bioenergetics? So imagine that our body is controlled by our energy field, and these fields get distortions and blockages, which create physical and emotional symptoms. So how do we get energy blockages? From stress, toxins, EMFs, emotional traumas, physical scars, and physical traumas. All you need to do is decode the human body field to get to the root cause and restore your energy for life. For more information, head on over to the blog at highenergygirl.com/bioenergetics with an X. That's BIOENERGETIX, and heal your energy for life. Have you joined the Facebook group yet? I have a new Facebook group called High Energy Girls, and that is pretty much where I'm hanging out these days, and I would love to have you a part of the group. So head on over to High Energy Girls on Facebook. This podcast contains the opinion and thoughts of its host and guests. It is intended to provide helpful and informative material on the subjects covered. All statements made on the podcast have not been evaluated by the FDA and are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. If the listener requires professional assistance or advice, please contact your personal medical doctor. Both host and guests specifically disclaim any responsibility for any liability, loss, or risk, personal or otherwise, which is incurred as a consequence directly or indirectly of the use and application of any of the contents of these episodes. Like I said, this is my opinion and I could be wrong. Hey, Debbie, thanks so much for coming on our show today.
Oh my God, thanks for having me. I'm super excited.
Oh, well, I'm super excited to have you because you're absolutely adorable. And I know that you have quite a story to share with our listeners.
Yes, I do. And I love your podcast. And I was listening and I'm like, oh, I need to share my story because it's just a little different how I got into keto and why it's helped me from your other guests that you've had on.
And you know, that's what I love about keto is that there's so many people, and I really love having a variety of stories to share because hopefully my goal is to one day put these all in a book because there's people that don't listen to podcasts that could benefit from everyone's different story.
Oh my God, what a yeah.
I've already got that in the works. So my son luckily is a literary, he's got his master's in English and he's getting his PhD. And so I'm like, okay, you're going to help me with this, Marco.
Oh my gosh, you're so lucky.
Yeah, I'm really lucky. But he lives in New York, so I'm not lucky with that because I'm here in California. So, but
yeah, the opposite. Okay, huh?
And he calls me every day. So how can I, be happier than that? I probably talk to him more now than when he lived here.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
jealous.
Cool. So
yeah.
Debbie, tell the listeners a little bit about yourself before you found keto.
So before I found keto, I'm in my 50s and always, dieting. I think I've been on every diet on the planet. And well, it started when I was young. I guess I should start there. I'm sorry. Before, when I was in my 20s, I always thought, I have fat thighs and I need to diet. So it was always the calorie restriction. And then in college, my first roommate was eating a ton of food and going to the bathroom. And I thought, what the heck is she doing? It turns out she was bulimic. And I thought that was the greatest idea. And I literally taught myself to be a bulimic in my 20s. And in my 50s, I was still suffering from it. It was just one of those habits and weight control. And I think mostly it was calorie restriction and then binging because I was starving all the time. And I thought enough was enough. And I actually found keto through such a roundabout way. I was on Facebook. And first I saw the bulletproof coffees. And I thought, wow, that's like Atkins, because I did Atkins for a stint there. And it just made sense. But I thought I was fasting with my big bulletproof coffee, and then I wouldn't eat until the afternoon. Well, then I'm like, this isn't really working. And I saw Kino Body on Facebook. And he's a dude that was truly fasting, and he would eat one meal at the end of the day. And of course, lean, mean, fighting machine. He looked great. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm not fasting. I have all this fat in my body. So that led me to just researching and delving into the world of fasting. And that's when I kind of discovered Jimmy Moore and Jason Fung's book on The Complete Guide to Fasting. And I'm a physician's assistant. And the science was like, ding, ding, ding. How could I not have thought of this? And so I started fasting first. And then I started listening to Jimmy's podcast, and I thought, oh my gosh, of course, I need keto. I got to cut the sugar out. Anyway, long story short, so I fasted before I even started keto, which was kind of hard to do. But it wasn't that long before I realized, oh my gosh, I have to, get into a ketogenic state. And then the fasting came much more naturally. You just forget to eat.
Oh, well, I guess you have to be pretty busy to do that. But okay, so
Yeah.
you said a lot of stuff I want to talk about with that, just getting started, but there's something I'm hearing background noise where you're at. Do you have a headset on, or do you have?
It's just my phone. I don't know what that could be.
Okay, so maybe it's just the movement or something. Or are you walking?
No, I'm sitting, and I was holding my phone, so I'll put it down and see if that helps.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Yeah, that will probably help, because I just sit here in front of a mic. Otherwise, I'm hosed.
Right.
Okay, so you started fasting and you weren't keto. So what did that fasting look like for you exactly? Like, how long were you fasting? And then when you broke the fast, what were you eating?
So basically, I started with just fasting until dinner.
Okay.
And according to, Kino Body or whatever, you kind of counted calories. So it was still back to that old counting calories. And I was eating whole foods. I'd say like sweet potato, a protein, sweet potato. Definitely was not a keto dinner. And then the next day I would try to do the same thing, just fast, get my hormones under control. And the more I started listening to podcasts, it wasn't long before I thought, oh my goodness, I have to do this ketogenic diet. And then I just cut out all carbs, and it made all the difference.
So were you hungry? Like, since you had the glucose spike with your dinner, with the sweet potatoes or whatever you were having, were you hungry in the morning when you woke up?
Yeah. It wasn't as good a control, definitely. It wasn't easy. So that's why I didn't know how they did it. They would drink black coffee. This is the Kino Body group. They would drink black coffee and water and try to or diet soda even, and they just push off their evening meal and then chow down on whatever they really wanted. And so it was hard. It was not easy, and it wasn't that long that I discovered keto after the fasting. So luckily I didn't suffer doing that too long, maybe a week. But the fasting all day really did make me realize, that eating the 3 to 6 small meals is not good. Fasting is the way to go. And then after I discovered keto, I was able to fast, 3 days. My longest was 7 days. And now I'm what happened was I just noticed my eating disorder was going away. I was like, wow, my hunger's controlled. I'm satiating with good fats. And I was like no longer binging, which meant I was no longer purging. And I thought, this is unbelievable.
I had another girl on that was talking about that as well, that's how she was able to get rid of her eating disorder, is that she just does a lot of fasting. Um, so then you did the fasting for a week, and then you started keto. And when you started keto, did you do the black coffee, or did you do a little bit of fat in the coffee? How did you transition there?
Yeah, so now I'm going almost on 2 years. So I definitely have changed what I used to do. In the beginning, I would make a bulletproof coffee with just a teaspoon, maybe 2 teaspoons of heavy whipping cream. I tried to keep it light. And now I'm to the point where I allow myself water in the morning. I take maybe some tea, always black tea, usually decaffeinated. And I have my light bulletproof in the afternoon, maybe around 1 or 2 o'clock. I kind of break my fast with a bulletproof because I love my coffee and I love my heavy whipping cream. So that's what I'm doing now. Back then, when you start out, I did have a light bulletproof in the morning because I loved it. It is very hard for me to give up coffee in the morning.
But doesn't Jason Fung say you can have like about 45 calories that won't break your fast if you just have fat? Like I do MCT, I do 1 teaspoon of MCT oil in my coffee. And I think Maria Emmerich and Jason Fung both said that if it's just a teaspoon of fat, it will not break your fast.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. That one, I would do 1 teaspoon of heavy whipping cream or 1 teaspoon of MCT oil just because I want my morning workout to kind of be burning my body fat. At this point, I'm trying to change body composition. But yeah, I don't think that's bad at all. If you're happy with your weight and your goal isn't weight loss, that's fantastic. As long as it's not, tablespoons and it's just teaspoons. Then that's who I follow mostly right now is Maria Emmerich. I took her keto coaching course, and I am now a certified keto coach through her.
Fun. Cool.
Yeah. And so she recommends in the beginning, it depends on what level of keto you are. That's why everybody's so bio-individual. And I don't think a teaspoon, back to the point is, I don't think a teaspoon here or there is going to hurt a fast at all.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I do because I get up at 4:45. I work out from 5:30 to 6:30, and I always have a teaspoon of MCT, just C8, pure C8, and then I go to the gym and do my workout, come back, and then I usually have a second cup around 7. So first one's around 5, second one's around 7, and I figured I don't usually eat until I don't know 1, 3, somewhere later.
Yeah.
But it's funny now. Okay, so you go to the gym, you work out too. What kind of workouts are you doing?
Yeah, so now I don't go to a gym. I have a little workout room in my basement. I'm super fortunate for that. And so I have been doing a HIIT workout, and I'm an avid tennis player. So the days I don't play tennis are the days I go down and I do the treadmill, and I'll walk for a minute, and then I sprint as fast as I can for 30 seconds. So I basically do a HIIT workout. With 6 sprints, it takes about 15 minutes. Boom, I'm done. And then I'll walk the dogs. But I'm so jealous when I listen to your podcast and you love the heavy weightlifting. That is my goal. Like I want more muscle and I want body composition change. So I'm trying really hard to start lifting weights, which is really what I want to get into. For some reason, that's my least favorite thing to do. I literally say ow with every pump. Like even if I have 5-pound weights and I'm pushing them over, just overhead lifts. I'm like, ow, ow. Like, it's terrible. I need somebody to come in and say, come on, just do this. Because I want the results from lifting heavy, but it's just not my cup of tea. I have to force myself to do it, which I am doing. I am doing because I want the muscle.
Well, I think you can relate to this. So having come from an eating disorder myself, I used to focus all the time on how much I weighed. And It was always the quest for skinny. And I used to run half marathons all the time. And I was always injured though. Shin splints. I had patellar tendonitis. And I kept running and then recovering in PT and orthotics. And I spent thousands of dollars. And then finally I'm like, why am I doing this?
The rat race, yeah.
It's just like I'm beating my body up. And so I literally had to change my identity. And that happened about 8 or 9 years ago. I can't remember now.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I can't do this anymore. And so I thought, you know what? My body is more of a mesomorph. Like I'm not an ectomorph that's naturally thin.
Right.
I'm more of a mesomorph, like, lots of muscle. And so not that I have more muscle than the average Joe, but that's just more my body type.
Right.
And so I thought I'm just going to start lifting again because I used to lift in college and, like sporadically throughout the rest of my life. But I just thought I'm going to change from being a runner to strength training.
That's awesome.
So that way I don't care about what the scale says as much. You know what I mean?
I do. I'm just, I gotta learn to love lifting heavy weights. That's my goal for this year.
Well, and think about aging, right? So bone density is,
Yeah.
it goes down with age, and doing squats helps with bone density. And, weighted lunges, anytime that you're using, your weight.
Right.
Tennis actually even helps with bone density.
Yeah. And thank goodness I love my tennis. And I get to play 3 days a week. And also K2, vitamin K2 helps the calcium get into the bones. So everybody should be taking vitamin K2.
Yeah, I take D3 and K2 together.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Fat soluble, so you take it when you break your fast.
So it's
good.
Yeah, it's really good. I have like the big thing of it. Okay, so let's get back to you got started. Okay, so I still haven't heard. So when did you start breaking your fast? Did you just always eat dinner?
Yeah, I was pretty OMAD for a while, one meal a day. And then listening to various people, it's good to mix it up too. So there, one day a week, I kind of throw a high protein day in, and also Maria Emmerich's, the thermo effect of protein actually boosts your metabolism. So one day a week, I try to eat more. I'd say it's only 300 calories more because I don't want the metabolic rate to go down. But if you just take one day a week and you kind of add about 300 calories of protein, lean protein, it actually boosts your metabolism for the rest of the week. But on a day-to-day basis, I pretty much am OMAD. I fast 20 and I'll eat 4, but sometimes it doesn't even take that long. I kind of fast till about 2, 3 o'clock, and my window to stop eating is 6. Because I find if I'm done at 6 and I'm in bed by 9, 10, I get much better sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm at now. In the beginning, if somebody's just listening and has an eating disorder and wants to start, the way to start is just get those carbs down. Total carbs. Count total carbs, 20, and that would be my biggest advice.
So what does a typical day of eating look like? So you break your fast around 2 or 3, and then how do you break it?
I usually break it with my coffee because I'm always just craving something hot, and sometimes it's decaf, sometimes it's regular. It doesn't affect my sleep, so I'll have a nice hot cup of coffee with a couple of teaspoons of heavy whipping cream, and I use monk fruit drops, just a little bit to sweeten it up. But I don't find that the natural sweeteners affect my appetite, so I add some monk fruit, and then lately, it always switches what protein, but I always concentrate on what protein I'm going to put on the plate first. So it could be chicken wings that I made in the air fryer. It could be hamburger patties that I've made. But I always concentrate on the protein first, and then I add fat to satiety, and carbs are usually pretty low. I'm almost carnivore, but I don't want to consider that because if there's a bowl of Brussels sprouts that I roasted, I'm going to eat some.
Mm-hmm.
Really, the vegetable for me is more to add crunch to the hamburger. I'll put some lettuce on. It's not for nutrients or anything like that. I'm mostly carnivore.
Okay.
And I don't up the fat just to chase ketones. My fat grams are really just, it's not low fat by any stretch, but I'd rather my body, now that I'm fat adapted, I'd rather use my body fat if it needs extra fat.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying there because I just will roast vegetables in fat, or I'll add, I love that Primal Kitchen ranch.
The Primal Kitchen ranch. I don't know if I've had that.
It's salad dressing because I love like a taco salad or But it's crazy because lately I haven't even been using lettuce. I'll make a taco salad with, I grow my own broccoli sprouts in the kitchen. And then
wow.
I'll throw like cilantro, like a ton of cilantro because that's so good for you.
Yeah.
And the broccoli sprouts, and I just make like a little salad with avocado.
I love that. I want to make broccoli sprouts. You're going to have to tell me how you did it.
Oh my gosh, Debbie, it's super easy. Okay, so you just get a little sprouter, okay? They have seed sprouters. You can buy them, online or whatever. And then you buy broccoli seed and you just take a tablespoon and you put it in there and you just wet it down. You just water it frequently. And after, I don't like them when they're fully grown. I like them when they're like halfway grown.
Right.
And they're so full of nutrients.
Oh my gosh. And talk about organic. I mean, no pesticides. I love it. I'm totally doing that. And you make your own sauerkraut too, which I was listening to one of your podcasts and I'm like, I need to make my own sauerkraut.
Yeah, that is really good. But I have to tell you, I've totally screwed up several batches. Like, you have to do it right. You have to make sure that it's fully packed in the water. And I've thrown away 2 batches because it got moldy and it just didn't work. So.
Gotcha. I think I saw something on YouTube where they were weighting it down with rocks. Like it's got to be submerged in that salt water.
Yeah, I push another jar in. So I have a big jar and then I take a smaller jar and I pack it in with that.
Nice.
And that seems to work. But now I want to play with like variations. Like I want to add some chili to it, like so it gets some spice.
Ooh.
And then,
that's a good idea.
It's so delicious is like for dinner the other night, I had at Costco, I found these grass-fed like sausage, like a kielbasa, but it's all grass-fed. And
wow.
It was delicious, dry. And then I put that with the sauerkraut, mustard, and jalapenos.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like the perfect meal.
It was so good.
That sounds delish.
Yeah.
I love it.
It was really good. Okay, so getting back to you.
Yes.
So you already said that you did total carbs. How much protein were you eating?
For me, being in my 50s, I can eat about 1 gram per my lean body mass. So I'm getting between 80 and 100 grams. I kind of upped it over, the past 2 years. I started out with the, 0.7. So I was getting 50 to 70 grams of protein. But now I find just to keep my muscle even, I don't know. They said the older you get, you need to up your protein grams. I learned that from Korea. And so I have, and it has not affected my glucose at all. I check my glucose a lot of mornings just to make sure. I don't check ketones because, of course, I'm not chasing ketones, but I will just keep myself in check, and I can do a higher protein for sure. So,
good.
Yeah, I'm saying between 80 and 100 grams sometimes.
I just love meat. I love grass-fed beef. Me
too. I love it. And I'm really into chicken wings right now. I got an air fryer for my birthday. My birthday's 11/11, and I just podcast. You're 11/10.
Yeah. How old did you turn?
I just turned 53, and so did you.
Oh my gosh! I think you messaged me that, huh?
I did. I found you on Instagram and I'm like, oh my God, it's her birthday. I couldn't believe it. And I was like, it's my birthday. And I thought I have to get on her podcast. We are like 2 kindred souls.
Oh my gosh, that is so awesome.
I know. Oh, I love it too. I was very excited. I know it's so silly, but I'm like, she's a Scorpio. I'm a Scorpio.
Well, we're going to just be friends now. Like, that's just the way it's going to be.
I really, really do. I'm a great friend. And I need friends.
Well, I'll tell you, you'll have to come out to California sometime because I am not going to go to St. Louis, Missouri.
Agreed completely.
At least not in the winter.
Yeah, no, it's terrible here. I'm coming to you. End of story.
So tell me about, let's go back to, so you got started on keto, you broke your fast with a coffee, and then you'd have a nice big meal, protein centered. And then you did not need to lose weight. No, not. My weight is really, in the past 2 years starting keto, I lost 3 pounds, which was definitely needed because I was getting that little bit of fat deposits from just being 50 and hormonal changes. Mm-hmm. And I definitely lost that. In the scale, it's only about 3 pounds.
But in person, everything fits better. I'm leaner. I love the way I look now. I can't even believe sometimes I'm like, I just want to take a picture and go, dang, I'm 53. Yeah, really. The only thing I don't like is like right above the my knees. I have a little bit of like, it's not really cellulite, but it is like it just doesn't look smooth. And that's always why I was trying to lean out and be on every diet, is because I've always had kind of bigger legs, small upper body, but my legs were always those runner legs, very muscular. And I also heard you talking about the fascia blaster, which I never did try because I always thought that what a gimmick. Like you are just literally rubbing your skin. But I heard, so I was going to ask you about that, like if you think that would make a difference, because that's the only area I'm not happy with.
I would probably guess it would.
Okay.
Because think about this, if you think about it from a biological or physiological standpoint. So why do you have that pocket there? Like what's going on? What's holding it there? And
Yeah.
like for me personally, I have really bad knees because I'm bow-legged and pigeon-toed and was born that way. Okay.
Right.
So with all my athletic endeavors, I do a lot of boot camp and, squats and just different things. My knees get taxed. And so for recovery, I use the fascia blaster.
Okay.
And
well, I'm going to get one hearing you talk about it.
So my favorite one, like they have like small ones and big ones. I really like the littlest one that is designed for your face.
Okay. Because then you can just get into that one little area. That's the other thing. How hard do you have to press before? You know what I mean? Like it just seems so, I don't know.
Well, do you foam roll?
I do. So the body weight, yes.
Okay. So it's like that in a way, but it's different. So it actually breaks up the adhesions so cellulite, so basically it goes skin, fascia, fat, and muscle. That's the layers, right? So the fascia is like a web, like a connection tissue. And then the fat pushes through, which gives the appearance of cellulite, right? So it could either make you look like you have cellulite, which, isn't really a real thing. Or it can create joint issues because it's holding on. So when you're trying to actually stretch a muscle, then the fascia is holding that muscle tightly together. So really you're only stretching the ends and not the belly of the muscle, which creates other problems.
Right. Well, I'm going to try it. I'll get back to you on that one.
Yeah, I think it's a cool thing. And the woman, Ashley Black, I would love to get her on my High Energy Girl show, but she is such a giver and just a lovely, warm person. And
somebody support. I like that.
Yeah, she's awesome. I mean, she's just a really wonderful person. And so, yeah, I would definitely recommend the Fascia Blaster. I think I have 3 of them. And,
oh, my goodness.
Well, what I do, so I work out with weights twice a week. I do boot camp 3 times a week. And then on the other days, on Wednesday and Sunday, I sit in front of my red lights. But I'm getting a sauna.
Oh, jealous. Yeah, I want the red light sauna.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, so for High Energy Girls show that's coming out tomorrow. I interviewed this guy. He ships out of Minnesota, so it's close to you. But my friend, her husband owns this wellness clinic in my town, and she is like this research phenom. Like she's amazing, and we are like we're like soul sisters. But anyway, she researched everything with saunas, and she told me you've got to talk to Randy. And so I called him up, and I asked him like all these questions that I knew about. And anyways, long story short, that's the sauna I'm getting. And so I asked him to come on my show, and he's giving all my listeners a discount on the sauna.
You said it comes out tomorrow?
I think that one comes out tomorrow or Monday. I can't recall.
Okay, no problem. I mean, I'll be listening, so I will definitely find it and look into that. I've wanted one so badly.
Do you know what it does? Like it decreases all-cause mortality by 40%, over 40%.
Wow. I thought it was just like mitochondrial health.
Oh, no. The detox, it's crazy. And we've all been exposed to so many toxins.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is unbelievable. There was a 20-year Finnish study that they followed these middle-aged men, and they concluded from the study that it decreases all, like regular sauna use, which is defined at like 3 or 4 times a week,
Right.
decreases all-cause mortality by over 40%.
Crazy.
Yeah. And his has...
How big is the one you're getting? Like, is it like a tent that you sit in?
Oh, no. This is like an infrared sauna. Like it looks like a closet almost.
Oh,
And
wow.
my friend has a 1-person unit. I'm getting the 2-person so that my husband and I can sit and talk, together and,
Great. I wonder if mine would get in.
Well, it's so good for you. And once you hear the science and the research, and his has no VOCs, like zero,
right.
and the EMF reading is the lowest possible.
Okay.
So listen to the show. You'll hear all about like everything. It was really good.
Yeah. No, I'm really excited. I'll probably be getting one.
Yeah, it's awesome. Okay, so tell us about the successes that you had beyond weight loss.
So beyond weight loss and food freedom and no more binging, no more purging, no more disordered eating, I had an essential tremor, which just means unknown cause. But it was affecting me as a physician's assistant. I was sewing wounds closed, and I'm like, I'm not nervous. I just have this tremor, and I was so tired of explaining that to people. And the tremor has diminished to almost not noticeable. Every now and then after I exercise, I'll be like drinking my water. I'm like, I could see my tremor a little, but other than that, it's gone. And so I love that. And joint pain also gone. I had a great toe that had arthritis in there from when I broke it a long, long time ago. And I would get off the tennis court. I'd play tennis fine, but I'm telling you, 2 to 8 hours afterwards, I'm like, this great toe would just be throbbing. I almost had a protein plasma, protein-enriched plasma.
PRP?
Oh, that PRP injection. And I just noticed over the last, I don't know when it stopped hurting, but it literally is completely gone.
Wow, that's amazing.
I know. So between the tremor, the disordered eating, the unwanted body fat, except for the little bit that's over my knee, it's helped tremendously. I mean, I can't imagine not being keto.
Yeah.
And I always look at people that aren't keto, and I think everybody's absolutely crazy if they're not keto.
Yeah, somebody posted in my Facebook group. So I don't know if you're in my group, but join it. It's called High Energy Girls. And somebody posted, what do you do after keto? I said, why would you stop keto? Like, really?
Yeah, that's a crazy question. It's a lifestyle, not a diet.
Yeah. I mean, to me, just for the cancer piece alone, my dad's had cancer 4 times. My mom has Alzheimer's and Hashimoto's and has been on all these stupid pills for as long as I can remember.
That's completely type 3 diabetes,
I know.
Alzheimer's. Yeah.
And I've tried to get her to change her diet. She was doing good for a while, but then she went right back, and now she gets really mad at me when I ever bring it up. So I just, Mom, you got to live your life,
My parents came for Thanksgiving, and my mom goes, if I hear the word keto one more time, she's visiting from Maryland. And it was like, I was trying so hard to just be like, even 2 out of the 3 meals, don't have carbs. They're on Weight Watchers and they're counting, and they start the morning with a half a banana, and it just, I had to shut up after like 1 or 2 days because they were staying for a week, and I really didn't want to start a fight. But
oh yeah,
it's just so frustrating to see because, and I get their point. They've probably seen me on 50 diets in 50 years, and they're like, oh, it's probably just another one of her diets. I went on the ice cream diet growing up, and I was always on a diet.
Me too.
And so they're probably just like, whatever. I'm like, no, this one is real. It's got the science to back it up. And I even told them I'm becoming a keto coach and I'm going to coach people. And they're like, I don't care.
I know. They just don't want to hear it. They don't want to give up their bread, and they think it's a joke. But, I've been doing a lot of research on gluten, and gluten intolerance is a huge problem, and it's a precursor to autoimmune disease oftentimes.
Absolutely.
And people just don't want to give up their bread, and it makes me crazy. Like, I look at even my family. I'm the only person that's keto in my family, including my husband. I have 3 adult children. None of them are keto.
Right. And it's so painful.
Yeah, it sucks. But I
Yeah.
just feel like I just got to keep, plowing forward. I can manage no problem. It's like, I don't care. I'll make potatoes, I'll make pasta, I'll make rice, I'll do whatever they want, but I'm just certainly not going to eat it.
That's exactly what I do. And as the months click by, I don't even want it anymore. In the beginning, it was hard. And I'm like, I'm not making you your potatoes because I don't want to look at them. But now it's like I can swim in a bowl of rice and I wouldn't want a piece in my mouth. Like it's crazy how you really do crave the proteins and the fats, and
Yeah.
it's not a big deal.
It's funny
So,
that
yeah.
you said rice because the only thing I miss is going to a sushi restaurant.
Me too. Me too. I'm with you 1,000%.
They just need to make low carb rolls. They need to figure out how to just put like cucumbers and, whatever else in a roll and not use the rice.
I agree.
So,
But there's something that chew, like when you have a sushi roll, it's like you need that rice to make it delicious. And I miss that too.
yeah.
But it's also one of those things where I'll just get this sashimi. It doesn't stop me. Like I love keto because I can walk into any restaurant and I'm okay. I guess the hardest one is Chinese, but I still find something I can do.
Yeah, I'm sure you can do Chinese somehow. I don't eat a lot of Chinese, but I love Thai food. Thai is one of my favorites, and Indian. But I like to cook because I find that when I go to restaurants, it doesn't matter how keto I go, I notice a change in my knuckles, like in my joints. So
yeah, the oil, those crappy oils they cook in.
Yes.
Yep.
And so I prefer just to eat at home. So did you hit any tough spots during this whole last 2 years? Or was it 3 years or 2 years?
It's going on 2 years. I started June of 2017.
Okay.
So June will be 2 years. And like I said, just in the beginning, I would crave the popcorn or the rice or what have you, but nothing, I overate fats. I could say that's easy. The keto flu is real. And because I started fasting first, I would say, 2.5 teaspoons of salt measured out on your counter in the beginning is crucial. And I didn't know that. I salted a little bit, but I really didn't know the extent of you need 2.5 teaspoons or you can get the constipation. But other than that, like small little cravings here and there, and then just the constipation. So the salt and, of course, magnesium, glycinate or malate at night help me sleep. Other than that, no. I think my body longed for this. It remembered I was on Atkins in 1996. I'll never forget it because my son was born. And it was also June. He was born June 1st. And I wanted to lose the baby weight. And somebody said, oh, you got to try this diet. You can eat bacon and burgers. And I went on it. And now here I think I was 30 when I had my son. And the weight just literally melted off. I didn't even know how thin I was getting. All I know is I have this one picture and I'm in this eeny teeny bikini and I was thin, and my mother-in-law saw me and it was back in the 90s and you're going to get a heart attack and have a cookie. And I ate a chocolate chip cookie and that was the end of it. But back to this story. When I started keto, it reminded me so much of Atkins. And I knew that this was going to be the right way, reading the science, and I just did not have any ill effects from it, other than a little constipation, and I knew, 2.5 teaspoons of salt.
Oh, okay. So do you spread that out throughout the day?
Oh, definitely. In the beginning, when I really needed the full 2.5, now that I'm a year and a half in, I don't need as much salt. But I made my own capsules. I went to the store, I went to Whole Foods, and I bought it was Fresh Time Market, but you can get them on Amazon, just empty pill capsules. And I would measure out 2.5 teaspoons, and I would put them in the little capsules and just swallow them that way. Because I can't do the salt water. I think my mom made me gargle with salt water too many times when I had a sore throat. And I just can't drink the salt water. My friends and people that I've started on keto, I'm like, they're like, I just put it in my water. I'm like, how did you do that? That's so gross.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Well, how many capsules equals 2.5 teaspoons?
It was odd. I had to buy the 000 capsules just so that I didn't have to swallow like 10 pills. So it was probably about 5 pills, the big ones, you know. But that's what I would rather do than drink salt water.
Oh my gosh, that I could never do that. I
I know.
do a whole teaspoon in the morning with my lemon water.
That's awesome.
You know, there's other ways that you could do it. So I have a recipe that I made up. It has like magnesium. I can't remember what's in it. It's been a long time, but
Yeah.
I used to drink it. I called it Keto Light, like, you know, electrolyte, but Keto Light.
Yeah.
And it had light salt for potassium. It had regular salt for sodium. And then it had that magnesium calm stuff.
Yeah.
And I made a whole picture of it, but it diluted the salt enough that it actually tasted good.
Oh, I love that idea. I'll have to get that recipe from you. Well, now I found Pure Planet makes these sports salts that have sodium and potassium so that because the important thing is keeping the sodium potassium balance. And so I didn't want to sprinkle no salt on my things so it just doesn't taste good. So I did find these sports salts that I think it's got 1,000, what is it? It's covered up with the price tag from Amazon. But it's got plenty of sodium, and they use pink Himalayan salt. It has magnesium carbonate and potassium. So I find if I take 2 of those, yeah, I'll have to send you those. If I just take 2 of those in the morning, I'm usually good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. That sounds interesting because I know I don't balance my stuff out anymore. You know, I mean, I've been doing this, so I just kind of eat lots of avocado, and I figure that's my potassium.
Yeah. And it's probably good. I just try to lower the fat, and I'm not a huge fan of avocado. I mean, I love guacamole, but I'm just so more carnivore now. So I try to make sure I get the potassium in there.
So it's funny. Danny Vega, do you know who he is?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I follow. Yes.
So we were joking around one day and I was saying something about, he was like, I said, yeah, I'm basically carnivore, but I eat avocado. Like I could be carnivore, but I could never give up avocado. And so he was calling it, I can't remember, but I called it a carnicado, you know?
That is hysterical.
It's like, I love it. Like I love avocado on everything.
Oh yeah, it's good. Yeah.
You just got to add some salt.
You're getting your potassium, so that's fantastic. Yeah, I don't measure the salt out now as much as I did in the beginning. Like for people that are worried about ketogenic flu, you know, I'm like, go get the capsules and swallow. But now I just don't need as much salt. So
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So we're getting down to the end of the recording. Wow. If I go past this, like I seriously, the file gets so big it won't even upload. Like it's crazy. So what is your favorite recipe?
My favorite recipe right now, I would say, is my air fried chicken because it is super simple. I get my air fryer out. I bought the XL and I take the chicken wings and you literally just salt and pepper them. And I think it's 15 minutes at 400 on one side. Then you flip them and they are absolutely crunchy, delicious chicken wings with no oil.
Okay, well, shoot me over the recipe.
Yeah, that one's an easy one.
Because the thing is like I don't mind the deep fried ones because I don't care about the fat part of it, but I hate throwing away the extra oil. I feel like it's such a waste.
Oh my gosh, that was my biggest thing. I bought myself a big old deep fryer a couple of months ago, and that oil, like where do you even dump it when you do? You can use it a couple times, but still then you have to dump it somewhere. You know, what do you walk down to the back? You know, I have this woodsy area. I'm like, this is crazy. What do you do with your oil after? Where do you dump yours?
Okay, so you're going to kill me, but I dump it down the sink.
No!
Just run the water really hot and dump it down.
Oh, yeah.
So, well, we live out in the country, so we have a well and a septic system and all that, so
not too bad.
It's not as bad as it would be.
But I'm going to send you another recipe. I do want to talk about this. You know, Maria Emmerich is I just love her. And I have every one of her cookbooks. And I make a flourless torte. It's a flourless chocolate torte that only has a little bit of coconut flour in it. You melt down chocolate and coconut oil. and you bake it and it comes out, and just 1 or 2 bites in the evening, just amazing. I mean, you can eat more than that, but I do want to send you that recipe too.
Okay, cool. I would love a recipe like that. That sounds
Okay.
delicious. And how about a favorite quote or a favorite book?
My favorite quote is "Food is thy medicine." And I tell that to all my patients as a physician's assistant. And I read it somewhere online. Food is thy medicine. And I just feel like the meaning no carbs.
Yeah.
Use ketogenic diet and it will cure you. So I say that quote pretty much every day when I'm working,
Yeah.
because I tell a lot of my patients about it, even though I'm not supposed to.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Do you understand the whole history of medical schools and all of that?
I didn't really delve into that too much, but being that I come from the medical background and my husband's a doctor, I know there's no nutrition education whatsoever. And I don't know the history of it, but
Well, basically, a long time ago, back in the days of Carnegie and Rockefeller, there used to be a lot of naturopathic schools, like, more lifestyle driven schools. Well, they were pharmaceutical giants. And so what they did was they wanted medical schools to talk about medicine so they could sell more, drugs. And so what they did was they provided exorbitant funding to the medical driven schools. And so the other schools were forced to close. And because they didn't have the funding, they didn't have the money. And that's like a nutshell, that's
yeah,
like a,
but that makes so much sense. And the pharmaceutical companies are still running the world. They want everybody on insulin.
yeah.
Yeah.
And cholesterol meds. Like, okay, so
Yeah.
do you work at a GP office?
No, I'm doing a different gig right now.
Okay. So, I mean, I know from just talking to people that anything over 200, they're freaking out and putting them on statins.
Oh yeah, I've heard that yeah, it's awful.
And
Everybody's
it makes me crazy. One of my
Oh,
really good friends went on the drugs, and basically I was trying to explain how I said, well, what's your HDL? And he's like, well, it's twice what it should be. And I'm like, well, what are your triglycerides? And he's
right.
like, half of what they should be. I said, then why are you on pills? Like, why are you taking medicine? And he said, Tracy, I'm going to listen to my doctor, not you. You're not a doctor.
It's so sad because it's like they're killing the firemen when they should be putting out the fire. You have arterial disease, and that's because of the sugar, and the cholesterol is there to help and patch things up, and you're killing the cholesterol. It's such a crime. It's super sad.
I love that analogy, Debbie.
Oh, it's the best analogy. I tell it to all my family members who will listen, because they're all, what about your cholesterol? And I'm like, yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So
Yeah.
explain to the listeners how exactly what's the fire, what's the fireman, and explain how the cholesterol is the fireman. Like, explain that, because a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, so when you eat sugar and it's coursing through your blood, it's causing damage. That's why diabetics have diabetic retinopathy and their eyes go. And same with your coronary arteries. They're small and you have sugar running through them, and it damages the intima, which is the inside of the arteries. And so that there's damage there. And then the cholesterol is coming to try to patch up the damage so that your blood will run smoothly. And that's why it is a cholesterol clot that's there. But that's not the enemy. That's the firemen trying to put out the fire. And so it's the sugar that's the enemy, and the cholesterol is the good guy trying to patch things up and repair what the sugar has done.
Yeah. And I always say to check your homocysteine levels, because homocysteine and CRP are a better measure of heart disease risk than your cholesterol number.
Yeah, and the CAD, they have a coronary artery scan that they can do that costs way less than an angiogram, that shows exactly how much clot you have. And the doctors don't even order it anymore. It was too good. Like, that's what happened. It was too efficient and too good. It's called, and you get a coronary artery score, I think, and it's supposed to be like 1. And it's the easiest test to do. It's almost like an ultrasound. It's cheap. And if you really want to see what's going on in your coronary arteries, you can go to your doctor and just say, I would like a coronary artery score. and they could just do this quick test. But it was too efficient, and people, I don't remember why they said they stopped doing it. Probably the cardiologist made a big old stink because they want to make money doing angiograms.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so there's another test I heard of that had something to do with a calcium score. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, that's this. That's this. The calcium arterial, what do they call it? I think it's just it's just calcium artery score.
Okay.
But that's what they're looking at. They're looking at how much calcium is built up in your coronary arteries.
And then what do they do about it? What if it's a high score? Then what?
Well, they'll probably put you on a statin, but what you should do is go keto because people are reversing their coronary artery disease by getting rid of the sugar, the bad guy, letting the cholesterol work.
Yeah, exactly. And cholesterol's your friend. I mean, it's a precursor to all your hormones. And
exactly.
Like we are getting older, right? By numerically, but we don't have to get older physically, so.
Your organs can live 120 years. And people are happy if they're dying at 80 or 90. Oh, he lived a good life. Well, if you were told that you could live 120, you're getting ripped off 40 years if you're dying in your 80s. So that's the way I look at it. I'm going for 120.
And even beyond that, what happens is maybe they're living longer, but their quality of life sucks.
Yeah. Yep.
They're couch potatoes. They've got aches and pains. They're walking and living old.
Yeah, it just, every time I saw my parents walk by, I thought, oh my gosh, they're walking inflammation.
Oh, yeah.
Eating all day, bananas. And then my dad, an hour later, grabs an orange. I'm like, no.
I know. I hear you, girl.
Yeah. So, yeah, the book, I just wanted to mention, because I think you would love this book called The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. It's not religious in any way, shape, or form. It's sort of like A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle, but The Untethered Soul is a great read. Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to add that to my list. I always ask for people's ideas on books, and then I have like a stack.
Yeah, and The Badass that you've heard 3 times from other listeners, great. Get that on audio. Man, I don't know. Yeah, but I know you were told to get that book a couple times, so I was going to, that's the book I would have picked if I didn't hear your other, listener, your guests.
Oh my God, you're so funny. There was more than one though. Which one?
Oh, just the original one.
Okay.
You're a Badass.
Well, right now I'm studying quantum physics, so the book I'm reading is crazy.
Wow, are you getting a degree?
Well, I am already what's called a bioenergetics practitioner, and I'm finishing my certification at the end of January in Florida. So I have all the software and the devices I need to help people, which basically the system combines physics, like a subatomic level physics.
Oh my goodness. My worst subject. Oh my goodness. You're very smart.
Well, I loved physics in school, so I have that left brain mind with math and physics and science and stuff. But it's so fascinating that I believe, and everybody that I've worked with believes, that this is going to be the future of medicine. And
love it.
We're at the forefront of it. But the things that you can do and help people with is incredible, because if you think about it, everybody looks at life through the cell, but what's beyond a cell is an atom, right? And then what's beyond the atom? It's like the photons and the neutrons and the quarks and
running. Yeah.
And those have a function in your body, right? So who are we to ignore what they're doing? Because they're the behind the scenes operators, and our body has this energetic field. And what happens is we get these distortions and blockages in that energetic field. And so our cells aren't able to communicate effectively, and then symptoms arise because our body is not able to do its job.
Are you talking about like negatively charged, like the grounding mat?
I believe in that. Yeah, I believe in the negative charge you can do.
Yeah, I put one under my mattress. So not under my mattress, under my sheet over my mattress. So I sleep on a grounding mat. And that just reminded me of that, because I know that's, for the negative electric charge that we're not getting anymore because we're wearing shoes and stuff.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's part of what you're...
Totally. Which one do you have?
I don't know. I bought one on Amazon. I put in grounding mat. It's nice and long, and I sleep on it every night. And I don't know if it's making a difference, but I feel good about it.
Yeah, no, I think grounding mats are great. I use this other device that I do. It's like this foot thing that you put, it's a foot bath, and there's a lot of naysayers about it, but it's because they argue about the color and the toxins coming out of your body, but really a lot of the cleansing has to do with the negative charge that goes into your body. And you can see the difference between having your feet in the water with the diode and having it be in a magnetic, so that the particles that are going to be in the water are magnetic.
Like a magnetic detox.
Yes.
I need to become one of your clients. I'm going to have to go to you. That sounds so cool. Maybe I could be a guinea pig. I could be your, like, try it on me. I love it. No, I think that's so fabulous.
Oh, yeah. This one gal, she got one of the foot spas from me, and she was having like Parkinson's-like symptoms. She started using it every single day, and they went away.
Oh, my gosh. That's saying something right there.
I know. It's crazy. Okay. So what is your guilty pleasure?
So my guilty pleasure is, let me think about this. Oh, I know. Well, there are a couple. So I love shopping on Poshmark, which is kind of like a secondhand, people put their closets on there, and you can get name brand stuff for a discount. And I shouldn't be on there, but I'm on there every single night on Poshmark looking through things that I don't need. So I always feel guilty about that. And I also I play Double Down Casino, which wouldn't be bad, except for every now and then I'll buy some chips, which is ridiculous because even though you make money on it, it's not real money. It's just how much you have on the app. So, I wouldn't call it a gambling addiction because it's like $7, and I only allow myself to do that maybe once a month. But I get yelled at every time. My husband's like, "Did you buy more chips on that?" Oh, caught. And
that's hilarious.
Wine is your guilty pleasure, and I wanted to quickly tell you about this app that I heard from Megan Ramos, and it's called LCBO. It's an app, and if you just put in the letters LCBO, it stands for Liquor Control Board of Ontario. You can scan all bottles of wine. They don't all work, but I'd say 90% of them. I'm in Target, like scanning. I go to this app, you scan the wine, and it literally tells you how many grams of sugar per liter. And if it's 4 grams or less, it won't raise your insulin. And so, like, for Thanksgiving, I wanted to serve some wine. I'm like, well, in case I want to have a glass, which I rarely really do, I'll get the ones with 2 grams of sugar or less. And I actually found 4 bottles of wine that have that. So I just wanted to tell you about that. Ooh, so much fun. You can go to your Trader Joe's and scan your wine and make sure it's low in sugar.
Yeah, so I'm really into like the French wines because I know that I'm really about the chemicals too. So, but I would love that. You say LCBO.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's green. The background is green. It's a green box. It'll say LCBO. And when you click on it, of course, it'll say Liquor Control Board of Ontario. But it really works. And I kind of just feel if I am going to do a glass of wine, I make sure it's got 2 grams of sugar or less.
Okay, I'm going to do that at Trader Joe's because I like the French or Italian wines.
Yes.
And it's funny. I have a winery like that I go to. It's like right in front of our house.
Oh,
and
beautiful.
It's like right there. So it's like they're our friends and, so we go there occasionally. But I feel so much better when I do that. But now I'm doing 30 days no alcohol.
Of course, yeah. Sorry, let me go somewhere quiet. What are you doing? 30
days no alcohol. So from the 24th of November to the 24th of December.
I love that. Good for you. I love that.
So just to kind of prove that I can do it and kind of just cleanse my body because I feel like I'm doing the bioenergetics. That is very detoxifying and cleansing from an energetic standpoint, but then the benefits are physical. And I felt like, gosh, I'm doing this great stuff. I want to just take it beyond. So I'm doing the bioenergetic stuff, plus I'm doing the no alcohol, plus I'm like cleaning out all my closets, all my cupboards, and I'm going to feng shui my house.
Oh my, I love it. I love it. That sounds so cool. We're gonna have to keep in touch so I can see how all that goes.
Oh, for sure. And that way I figure I'll start the new year like physically, mentally, spatially, spiritually, like from a different place?
Oh my gosh. Well, you're going to have to keep me posted on that.
I will.
I love all that. That's great.
So tell the listeners how they can find you.
So I started a webpage when this keto rocked my world called Fat Fueled at 50. So I'm at fatfueledat50.com, and I'm trying to post stuff on Instagram, just fun stuff, recipes I got. And now that I'm keto coach certified, I want to help others, especially in the older years. I just know a lot of supplements and hormonal changes because we're just a little different once your hormones change in our 50s. So that's where you can find me, fatfueledat50.com.
Cool. Well, I'll definitely put a link in the show notes. And so that's your, like a blog or whatever?
Yeah, that's my blog. And I offer some services on there now that I'm keto coach certified. So if you need any help, I'm here for you. Or if you just want to email me, I answer questions,
Awesome.
But
do you have a Facebook page or just Instagram?
I don't. Well, I do. You can get to it through my blog. I'm just not very active on it because it somehow connected. Technically, I don't know how these young kids do it, but somehow my old Facebook page was connected to the new one, and I didn't really want my two worlds to collide. But it's happening anyway on Facebook. Facebook is harder, but my Instagram. Also, I'm learning. I don't even know how to do Instagram lives. Like, I'm just not good at it yet.
Me either.
It's so hard. There's just so much to learn.
Yeah, there is for sure. Well, I'll have links to send me over like direct links to all the social places that you want people to find you. And then they can check out the show notes at bewellbeketo.com and you'll have all of your juicy details on there with the recipes. I really want that chocolate one especially.
Yeah, you do. I will definitely send it over to you.
Hey, sweetie, thank you so much for coming on the show today. It was a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much. It was so great. I appreciate it. Okay, we'll talk soon.
Okay, dear. Thank you. Take care. Have a good day. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Yay, wasn't that a great episode? Debbie is such a doll. I was having so much fun talking with her. So if you liked the episode and you know somebody who can benefit from hearing this show, please send them a copy of the link or send them over there. And in order for more people to hear these inspiring stories, please go over to iTunes, give us a rating and review. That way, the higher we rank up in iTunes, the more people that can find us. And as you know, I'm always looking for unique stories. So if you would love to come on the show, please email me at tracy@highenergygirl.com. That's Tracy with 2 E's. Or if you have a friend with an inspiring story, please send them over my way as well. So thanks so much, you guys. Go out and make it a great day.